Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Champagne S3 here guys, and we are going to continue where we left off in the last video, talking about the exhaust that I got from XForce, and we're going to show you guys how to throw that on. Now just a quick overview of the exhaust. So this is going on a 2017 Audi S3. Now this exhaust will work on the sedan as well as the hatchback versions. So we touched a little bit on this exhaust in my last video, but I'm going to go into more detail about this here. And on that note guys, we are about to enter the quick fact zone. So let's go over a few things about the exhaust system and what makes this unique compared to the rest of the competition right now. First and foremost guys, you will notice that this is a valved exhaust system. Difference here is that the valve is in the center of the muffler here. The reason why you're only going to find this on the XForce exhaust is because they actually hold a patent for this design. Now what makes this really unique guys is by having it in the center, they have more flexibility for exhaust gas control, which can help with tuning the sound and the tone exactly to what they were looking for, as well as limiting any setbacks on performance. So I'm going to link a few photos from the website to see the design and how this works. So essentially this is still a straight through design when the valves are open. So this is the valve system we connect to, and the box itself we install in the cabin. And of course guys, it does come with two remote controls to control the exhaust valves. Another cool fact about the XForce exhaust systems are that all these mufflers that are being used, they are designed specifically for the platform. In this case guys, the Audi S3, there are no other platforms or applications that this muffler will be on aside from the Golf R, because they are actually the same platform, the MQB platform. That is super cool because if you guys know, most manufacturers, they just use the same old muffler they have, throw it across all different platforms. It doesn't matter, you know, what kind of platform, what engine and whatnot, it's the same muffler. XForce spends a lot more time designing their mufflers to get the right sound out of the application and get the right performance out of it. Now we're just going to show with you guys what comes included in this system. So obviously we got the muffler here. I got these stainless steel tips guys, but really cool thing is that they actually just released carbon fiber tips. Now here we got our other midsection. They have a connection here, which is a step down. So if you guys are running, you know, a downpipe that steps down to the OEM 2.5 inch, then this will work, and this is what you guys are going to need. We got our gaskets that are included here, and we got a few bolts and nuts. Now here guys, this is really special, and this was one of the things I was most excited for, which was a smart box. I'm gonna actually make a separate video regarding the smart box. Having this smart box guys allows you further control with your exhaust. You can control exactly the percentage, 25, 50, 75, fully open, fully closed. You can set it up so that is RPM dependent. Now we're just going to go into the trunk here. I'm just going to show you the grommet that we will use for the valve system to connect and access through the trunk. So on the passenger side, there's a little cover here. Just take that off. There's like a little clip here that you can just pull up, and then you can maneuver this, and there you go. That's the grommet that we're going to use to fish the wire through from the trunk and into the cabin. Now if we go underneath the car right here, there we go. That is what we were looking for. That's the grommet that we're going to use. Alright guys, so you're gonna have to jack up the back of your vehicle. So what we're gonna do first, we're gonna undo this band clamp over here. So we'll take off this guys. Obviously we gotta remove the hangers. I know sometimes these can be pretty stubborn guys. What I have is I have a spray bottle with soap and water to help us slide these on through. Alright, so sometimes the exhaust bolts are can be seized. So in times like this, you want to try to use something like PB Blaster. There's really nothing going to be supporting this, so I'm going to get a jack to hold this up over here.
The next day.
So it is the next day. We just waited for a little bit. It was getting a little too dark and I was losing light, so it's kind of hard to see. And another thing we picked up some channel lock pliers. This could be good if you decide to leave the exhaust on your car and you want to just take off the hangers. You could use this and you can kind of squeeze it right out. So that was my plan. I'm alone, unfortunately. I don't have anyone to help me lift the exhaust or support the exhaust. So I think the easiest and best way to do this is to unbolt the hangers from the car, bring it outside, remove the rubber off the hangers, and reinstall them onto the XForce exhaust. So we're under the car here, guys. So as you can see, these are pretty beefy. So if you don't have a proper tool to take this off, or like channel lock pliers, what I'm going to do in my case, I'm going to just unbolt this on both sides. I'll probably get my jack supporting this so that when both sides are unbolted, I can lower this down safely. The jack supporting the muffler, we have a jack stand supporting the downpipe. Unhook that middle exhaust hanger there. It's fairly easy, soap and water, and I just flathead was able to get it loose. Before I start taking these hangers off, what we want to do, we want to actually disconnect the valves, the plug for the valves here. So the push clip is actually on the top, so push that in and pull it out. Fairly easy. So do this, the same thing on the other side, and then we'll be ready to take these hangers off. Yep, it is a 13 millimeter to get that out. Before you do that, make sure you kind of unclip this. Obviously we gotta tie this up somewhere. So here's a quick look at the OEM exhaust. What we're going to do, we're going to use the channel lock pliers, lube this up. We're going to pull this off, convert this over to the new exhaust. Here's one snag we ran into. So this bolt, obviously, once we put the PB blaster, we were able to get it off. It looks like the shop who did my resonator delete, they put the wrong bolt in. As you can see here, they're supposed to have like a square pattern on the inside so that the bolt does not move. This one unfortunately is not that type. I'm not sure what I'm going to do. I might just have to use a cutting wheel and get that off. So this is just a comparison of the OEM versus the XForce valved exhaust system.
3 days later.
Alright guys, this is taking way too long, so let's cut to the chase and just use the big boy right here. Alright, freaking finally. So we're under the car here, and just wanted to show you, so the valve on the driver's side, the valve plug, I just zip tied it up here. I'm gonna see if I can find those valve delete plugs where you can plug them in. Worst case scenario, guys, all you gotta do is just kind of tape this up down the middle over here where the muffler is. I just put a zip tie preemptively just to plan for the Varex valve wire to kind of fish through there, keep it off the muffler, and then we can route it towards the grommet on the other side. So this is the wire that we're going to route through that zip tie. So here's the hardware on. We got the hangers on here. I did not connect this, however we do have this connected with the bolts and the gasket in the middle. I figured I'm going to install this in two pieces. I'm going to probably put the muffler on first, get it to hang on the hangers there, have it supported by the jack, and then fit this pipe in, put on the clamp, and then bolt it up to the muffler. So just an update, obviously we got the hangers connected and bolted up on both sides, and I can show you here, muffler to the mid pipe. I just loosely have it bolted up with the gasket in there, just obviously when we do our final adjustments with the exhaust, anything we need to move around slightly, we can do that before we tighten it up. Now if you do it the method that I did, where you put the muffler in first and then you put the mid pipe with the reducer in as one piece, I'll show you some tips. First and foremost, guys, you want to make sure that the reducer portion, you are attaching that into the downpipe with the band clamp first. Once you do that, that is one point that you do not have to worry about for clearance, and once you have this secured, you can move this back and forth to get the proper fitment and rotate this so it does not hit the drive shaft. So that is my main tip. Then the second thing is make sure that you attach the hangers. You might need to put a jack under the mid pipe just to kind of keep it up, but obviously get these two hangers onto the mid pipe first, and this is something you don't need to worry about because now it is secure. What I did after that, I then connected the mid pipe over to the muffler and loosely secured it as well. Next step for us would be to check fitment, adjust it somewhat, and then tighten all the bolts down on the system. So all the bolts and nuts are all tightened up. Last thing we have to do here is just set up the tips. So this is the way I have it set up, kind of like a staggered look. I personally do like kind of like the slash cut look, like kind of tapers down near the end. Now I feel like this way flows pretty well with the lines of the bumper and the diffuser and how it kind of just starts tapering off this way. Of course, if you guys prefer, you can just, you know, set them up equal. I'm just gonna have the bolts facing kind of downward like this, just so it's easy to access if I need to adjust it, and it's kind of tucked away so you won't be able to see it from the bottom of the car. Alright guys, so that's pretty much it for the installation on the bottom. The last thing we're going to have to do is route the wiring for the valve system into the trunk. You guys, what comes in the valve system box here. So we got our wiring. So that's the power going to your cigarette lighter. We got the plug for the Varex valve system, and a plug going into the control box. Here we go, we got the control box. And you got to mount this probably somewhere in the cabin. You want it obviously near the power source. And we also got 2 remote controls here. So one thing that I'm considering doing is, because we got that grommet here that is actually the wire for the OEM valve system going through it, I just figured, you know what, why don't I just take out this wiring, because it's not needed anyway, and maybe just, you know, tie it up here, keep it nice and neat. I wanted to show you how I have this routed to go to the front. The wiring and how you organize it is completely up to you. I just want to give you an example. So I did the grommet to the grommet like I showed you. Actually, let's take a quick look under there first. So as you can see, I used the grommet. I took off the OEM wire, and I had to make a small slit in it to get the plug through it, and then I routed it through. I took this cable protection off the OEM wire too. It's actually just split down the middle. You can just separate it and move it onto this new wire here. And like I mentioned, we used this point here to hold the connection so that this wire is not touching the muffler. Used the stock mounting location for the wire up there. I left it there. Alright, so back up here, the wire is going towards the edge here. This is all going to be covered by the carpet, so you're not going to be able to see this. And what I did here, guys, I just popped the covers on the side here, over here and over here. Just keep in mind, you're going to have to pop up the bench seat in order to reach this cap here. So if you don't take that off, you're going to have a real tough time opening this up. So either way, guys, here's the wire. We have it routed. We have it going underneath. As you can see, it's going underneath this panel. So I popped this panel too, and it's routed through here. And I'm probably going to get the wire to exit somewhere around here. And I'm going to probably get some cable management. It's going to route over here, connecting to the side, or maybe further down here. And the wires will just go all the way around here into the power, and I'll probably mount the box unit right here. So that's just a quick example of how I'm personally going to route the wiring. Now, obviously I have the smart box, and the smart box actually utilizes these wires as well. So no matter how you route it, you want to make it as clean as possible, even if you're using the regular valve system from Varex, or you're going with the smart box. So either way, the routing has to be pretty similar. We'll get that all sorted. We'll start the car, and I'll show you an example of the valves opening and closing. Still have to mount the control unit, maybe double side taping it down here somewhere. Main thing is you want to be able to see the lights when you open and close the valves. So when you put the accessory power on, green light is on. This is the remote. Okay, so B is, if you hold B, it's valves closed. If you hold A, valves opened. Alright guys, so that pretty much wraps up the installation on the XForce exhaust for the Audi S3. Now guys, stay tuned for my next video. We're going to be installing the Varix smart box system. So take a look at that guys. It's more customization for your exhaust note depending on location, RPM, you name it guys. Anything you can think of to adjust this exhaust note, you're going to find it with the smart box system. So thank you again to XForce for supporting the build. Really appreciate it guys, and just remember that with this exhaust system you can make it go from loud to quiet with a simple push of the button. So guys, if you like this video, smash that like button, subscribing to the channel. So thank you once again, and as always, we'll catch you on the next one.